All right, guys, happy Monday. It is the last Monday of September. That's craziness. So thank you all for being here. And I'm super excited for tonight's call. We have a very, very special guest speaker, and I'm so excited for her to share. But first, I just want to do a little bit of recognition. So let me share my screen. All right, so this probably isn't very big. See if I can make it bigger. So I know that this has been a really weird month for a lot of us, but you know what? I just do not care. It is the last week of September. I know everyone is still working really, really hard. There's so many people on the board this month, and I know none of you are giving up, and I certainly am not either. I think that it's a huge learning lesson to have experienced times like this in your business when you feel like maybe things aren't going your way. And I don't like to use the H word. I just refuse to say it. I just yelled at my husband I truly believe that if you speak it, it will come into existence. So I just don't like to feed into that kind of energy. But we are in week 3 of our Diamond Push group. We are pushing really hard for Elite as a team, and that requires every single one of us to show up every day, to keep pushing till the very, very last second, always, to never get caught up in this whole thinking that it's hard. All right. There's always action to take. There's always something to do. And you guys know I say this all the time. You just need to lean in. So anyway, shout out to Shannon and Ashley for our Hitting Success Club this month. And like I said, there's so many of you ladies that are on the board. And Shannon is our coach of the week this week because I am just super proud of her for not only switching her job the last couple weeks and dealing with all that change, but she also has just been really working hard at stepping up in her business. And she's one of our ladies in our Push to Diamond group. So super proud of her. And Ashley, I believe this makes you month 2 out of 3 for your Success Starter qualification. So that's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna hop over and introduce our guest speaker. I hate that it won't let me make this super big, but anyway. So our guest speaker tonight is Taylor Ricker. So if you guys don't know who she is, which you might not, but I do. And so here's the story. So I have always been a huge fan of Jamie Innes. When I first started coaching, there was like 3 distinct coaches that I remember like following and stalking like crazy. And the one was Samantha Ayoha, and I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Samantha Ayoha, Jamie Innes, and I think Amy Rada. So pretty much all in the Fight to Finish family. So Jamie Innes is CEO of Team Fight to Finish. And I just love them all. I don't know. They were like people who I gravitated towards in the very beginning. And I still love following them. Anyway, so I saw Taylor, who I believe she is Jamie's personally sponsored coach. Taylor was like a coach that like I felt like as a new coach coming in, like I looked up to her so much. I felt like we had so much in common. I remember watching her stories like all day, every day, not all day, every day. But I just remember thinking like, oh my God, like I love this girl. And then now, life happens and I feel like here I am a year later focusing like on my own business, and I come back and Taylor, you like blown the place up. And not only have you blown up your business, but you're now a new mom. And I know that you've moved into your new home. So anyway, I'm just like so excited to have you on and share with my team and talk to us about your journey. So you guys, she is a 2-time elite coach, right? She is 8-star Diamond Qual in her first business center. So that means she's in the process of Diamond qualification. So all you guys in the Push to Diamond group, it's a 6-week process. So that is huge. She's 2-star Diamond in her second CVC. again, crazy. And she's diamond in her third CBC. So that's a lot of diamonds, you guys. She's hit Success Club 46 months in a row. She's a dog mom. She's now a new mama to a little girl. And she's a wife, and she is the CEO of Team Rise Above It. So I am so excited, Taylor. Let me stop my screen. I'm going to mute myself, and I'll let you take it away.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes. Oh, you're so sweet, that introduction. Oh my gosh. Stop it. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about my story. And yes, Team Bike Finish is freaking amazing. Like, they're all my best friends, and we really are all BFFs in real life. It's just such a unique team. Not saying there's not other teams out there like that. You guys probably are too, but it's just so cool because not only are we all really close, but like Jamie's our upline. There's so many of us in the downline that are successful, making six-figure incomes, and just so cool to see, like, okay, just in our team, like, it's so possible. Like, obviously it's possible everywhere, you know, but it's so cool to see like so many people. And I really think it is because of that community that we've created, and that we're just like setting that example for each other and pushing each other in a healthy, like, competitive way. And it's really given off to the entire team. So if you can recreate that in any way for your team, it really is contagious. So I have almost coming up on my 4-year coaching anniversary, which is crazy because I still feel like I'm like a baby coach, but I started coaching in October 4 years ago. And when I started coaching, I worked full-time in corporate America. So I was in human resources. And at the time, like, I thought it was my dream job until I just kind of got burnt out from it. And I never like hated my job and like absolutely dreaded going there. But it definitely wasn't a passion of mine. It wasn't something I was excited about. And I knew that I wanted to be home with my babies one day. Like, that was always the end goal for me. I always wanted kids right away. Like, Ryan and I were together for, like 7 years before we even started coaching. We knew this was our future, and I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted to have something of my own, and I wanted to make an income and not rely on him and ask him if I could go to Target for the day. Like, I wanted my own money and also be able to stay home with my baby. And this business can give you that, like, whatever it is for you. If you want to travel or whatever that income is for you, it's possible. So once I saw that potential, I pretty much just went all in. I was pretty much a business builder right from the start. I hit Success Starter and just ran with it. And my first year, I pushed. I was really good at hitting Success Club, but I wasn't that good about getting Business Builder. So that was the huge shift that I made in my business the second year of coaching. So I think it took me a little longer to hit Diamond, I think like 8 months. And then but then I went from like Diamond to 3-star in that year. So I really pushed super hard because I knew Jamie was always telling us, like, you need to get to 2-star. You need to open up that second CPC if you want to make a great income. And I was financially driven. Like, yes, I love this business. I love helping people, but I'm a very financial driven person. I joined this business for the income opportunity. And I know that a lot of my coaches have as well. So I really wanted to show them that example, but again, I was financially driven. So that second year, I just pushed my ass off and changed everything I was doing as far as recruiting business builders and then mentoring those business builders to become leaders, right? Because that's what was going to really give me that income and that steady stream that I was looking for, and to watch them do it, right? Like, that's just as cool to watch your leaders to be able to do that. So that was my big focus. And then within 2 years, I was able to replace my full-time income. So at that time, like, my big goal was $1,000 a week. That was like what I wanted to replace my, full-time corporate income. I think that's like a number that a lot of people want to hit. So I was able to do that like 6 months after hitting 2-star, once like that volume really started coming in. And then now it's just insane. Like, if I would have looked like you told me 2 years ago, like what it was going to be now, I would have laughed in your face because I don't even understand how it's possible. So anyways, I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about all the things that kind of changed my mindset, what got me full-time, what got me to elite, the things that can help you guys hit elite as a team, which, as she said, like, it is so true that it is a team effort. Like, it's not just Amy hitting elite. It's like every single one of you are a piece of that, every single thing that you do. So just know that it really is a team effort, and it's like your team being recognized of that, and you all need to push together and really create that movement and accountability. And like, that was something I was super, like, that motivated me a ton. Like, oh, I want to rank advanced Jamie, or I want to help Jamie. So like, you have to obviously want it for yourself, but that's a part of it too. Like, really look at that, and also what it means, like, your team as a whole, and how you could be a part of it. So, like I said, the biggest thing that changed in me from really where my income changed was when I got really good at recruiting, and then I took that group of everyone I was recruiting, got really good at developing leaders from that group. And yeah, that's weeding some of them out, and it's making sure that I'm running with the running and not dragging people along. Because I know my entire first year of the business, I spent way too much time dragging people and waiting on people. Even as far as like Success Club came, I was like, oh, this one person told me on payday she was gonna order, like you waited till the last minute. It's like, no, you have to keep pushing until you see it. But I was doing the same thing with new coaches, like people who told me they wanted to work the business and they didn't show up and they didn't complete the coach prep school. They didn't do anything. And I was like sitting there waiting on them, like they're going to be my emerald for diamond, right? And that's just not how it works. Like they have to want it for themselves. That's a big part of this business. You're never going to get anywhere dragging people along. You need to make sure that you are really, really, really running with your runners and walking with your walkers. That doesn't mean you don't have to talk to them, but you're not going to spend all that time pushing with them if they don't want to push with you. So some things I really focused on is creating a business builders group. So I would kind of like weed out those people in my coach page who was really, really pushing. They were hitting Success Club, and I just wanted to spend more time with them. So I could put them into a private group. And I really just love on them every single month. I do one-on-ones with them. If they hit Success Club, they're able to get a one-on-one call with me. So I put that schedule in there. We do coffee chats once a month, sometimes twice a month, and just get on and chat like Saturday mornings, then work out together, and just really, really focus on building that community and growing our businesses together instead of like me just doing it. Like, hey, you guys want to do this with me? You want to do a coach happy hour with me or running coaching sneak peek with me, and really, really help them push because, if you're doing those things with them, then your business builders are doing the right things too, right? Because they're doing that with you. So I focused a lot on that and just becoming best friends with your coaches. That's like the biggest advice I can give you. Like everyone's so worried about like, how does my onboarding process look and what am I giving them and what is the training? Like they just have to know that you're there for them and be their best friend. And that's exactly why you want to be so true to your brand on social media, and recruiting people who want to be best friends with, right? Because that first year I was not doing that. The people I was adding to my team were not my people. And as soon as I really, really started like being true to that, then I actually wanted to hang out with those people, right? It was all so much more natural. So really, really just become best friends with them and spend time with them and like reward them in time and like all of that for those people who are pushing. So that is my biggest advice, like that piece of things. Then from there, what I really had to do was break down the income I wanted to make. So if you are like someone who you need to make a certain amount of money, maybe you want to quit your full-time job or you want to pay off your loans or you want to, whatever it is, you can reverse engineer in this business. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. But you should be so focused on team cycle bonus versus everything else. And that's exactly why Jamie has a big ass team and she makes more money than like people combined in the top 10. I think she has to be one of the top earners in Beachbody. You would shit your pants. It's because she is so focused on building deep and on volume. She is business center, business center, business center, business center. She's never focused on just rankings. Like she never was just pushing for superstar, okay? She was pushing for 5 business centers because then her volume was 20 plus grand a week, right? So that's what you have to really, really figure out, and you can reverse engineer that. So whatever income goal you're trying to hit, I highly recommend you make that your team cycle bonus income goal. And commission, the extra bonuses, those are all extra, like extra on top of your team cycle bonus. And if you don't know how to do this, there's plenty of YouTube videos about it. Just search reverse engineering. As you know, like as a diamond, you cycle $18 a cycle. Break that down. If you need to hit $200 a week, break that down and see how many coaches you need to add to your week leg. And that's your entire downline of coaches, right? That's also like your coach is adding a coach and your coach's coach is adding a coach. And once you have business builders, it's going to get really fun. It's like a video game, and it's going to happen a lot faster. But it's just something to have on your mind and know that like once you get there in your business, maybe you're not there yet, but it's possible to do. And that like really, really motivated me. And then with that being said, you have to treat this like a business, right? If you want it to pay like a business, you have to treat it like a business. This is not something that you're going to, put in a couple hours of work and make a couple $100s. Like you guys know that, right? Especially when you're first starting off. It's not, you don't see that money up front. But I promise you, once you get up that steep hill, it's like holy residual income. And it happens really fast. We're in a really short amount of time. But you have to get past that 1 and 2 years of really hard work. And that's why most people don't succeed, because they can't get past that 1 year of working their ass off and not seeing the income from it. But I promise you, if you get past that and you stay consistent, my biggest advice to every coach, like the only superpower in the coach is making money, is not giving up. It's staying consistent, showing up every single day and not quitting. Like if you do that, you're going to make money, and you're going to be able to do this. But again, you have to treat it like a business. So show up when you don't feel like it. Use your excuses, let them be your reasons. Like when you're so stressed out after work, like that's not like those first 2 years when I was building, I didn't go sit and like do nothing, right? Like that was my push to go into my office and work, because I knew if I did that, like, yeah, that was 2 years of hard work, but I have like this lifetime of freedom, right? I'm able to spend every single day now with my daughter. That's worth it. And that's super powerful when you really think about your future with it. So whatever those excuses are, let them push you, let them drive you even more. And figure out like a super strong vision. So I know a lot of people talk about their why, and their why is super important, but I want you to get even like deeper and talk about your vision and your long-term, short-term and long-term vision of this business. Like, where do you see yourself? Like, where do you see your family? How do you feel? Where are you living? What are you doing? How are you feeling doing those things? Like, that's your ultimate vision. And I had that written down everywhere. I still remember I had a sticky note here. I think I might still have it. And this was so I must have made it in 2017. So I wanted to like retire that year. And I said I wanted to be full-time, pregnant, have a puppy, debt-free, and make $100,000 in a year. And like all those things I was able to check off that year. And then every year since, I've made like another sticky note. So like it's whatever works for you and is what, motivates you, do it. But like if you're at your desk all the day and you want to see that, help that, push you. But anyways, speak like it's a business, and then be that leader you want to be, right? Don't wait for your leader to post a push to emerald call or whatever you're doing. You wait for your leader to post this. Like, start that for your team. Like, act like that leader you want to be. And that's what also really changed my business that year, especially pushing to elite and helping my team push to elite. Because once I started acting like that leader, just kind of like let them go a little bit and let them take my example and take my steps, they were so much more successful too, because I wasn't hand-holding them on everything. They were able to create their own team and their own team pages and really experience what it's like to be a leader, because it's fun. And it's so fun to watch your leaders kind of like go off and do their own thing too. So you have to act like that leader even before you're that leader. I don't care if you're an emerald coach. Act like that diamond coach you want to be on social media. Act like that business builder. Like, you have this team. It doesn't matter if it's your PS coaches or not. Act like it's your whole team and be confident about the business opportunity, and speak like you are that star diamond leader or whatever you're looking to be, because that is contagious and it radiates. And if you wait to talk about the business, you're not going to get business builders, right? Like, that's the whole thing about getting business builders, is talking about coaching, right? And talking about it all the time. And that's going to attract you. So don't wait too long. Because again, that was my biggest mistake in the first year, is I never talked about coaching. So no wonder I was at recruiting business builders. So your coaches, in my opinion, are going to do half of what you do. Your team is going to do half of what you do, except like those rare unicorns who are like amazing rock stars and just do everything on their own. But again, they're most likely going to do half of what you do. So if you're really, really looking to develop a team and a strong downline, instead of focusing on Success Club 5, maybe you really need to push for Success Club 10. So instead of your coaches hitting Success Club 2, they hit Success Club 6, right? Just kind of like really, really bump it up a notch. That second year in my business, I read 10 times rule, like 2 or 3 times. And I really 10 times everything. I highly recommend that book if you're really looking to push. But again, that's when this really resonated to me, and realized like, okay, I need to really double everything I was doing in those results so that my coaches doubled everything they were doing and did half of that. So I asked myself every night at the end of the day, if my coaches did what I did today, would they be successful? And it was like such a gut wrench for me every day, because on the days I didn't, I was like, shit, no, they didn't. So really, really make sure that you're asking yourself that, and you're not just telling your team to do things, you're doing the things. You're showing up for the calls, right? You're recruiting, you're hosting a coaching sneak peek. You're doing all these things so that your coaches take action and do that with you. Okay. My other tip of advice is to be very smart with your time. And I'm sure you guys have heard this all the time, but we're all busy. We all have things to do. And I've heard too many times from coaches that they can't build a full-time income because they don't have full-time time, right? They don't have that time on their hands to do that. And that is BS, because I have built a multiple 6-figure income at part-time hours 100% of the time. I have never worked full-time just on this. I've built this business on about 3 hours a day. That's it. So when I was working full-time, I did that. Obviously, I was working alongside my full-time job for 2 years. The day I quit my full-time job, I got a puppy and found out I was pregnant all in the same day. And then it was just like all spin from there. I thought I was going to have like all this time in the world to work on Beachbody, like my dream. And I had this like crazy puppy and like the worst first trimester ever. But anyways, I always had stuff going on. And then obviously now I have a baby. I can't work all day unless I want to get a nanny the whole time. And that's not why I quit, right? That's not why I decided to do this full time. So I highly recommend doing miracle mornings. If you do not already, get up before whatever you have for the day. So whether that's a child or a job or whatever it is, get up early. Get up 2 hours before you know that priority is happening, or 1 hour even, and get your miracle mornings in. So I did that in corporate America, and I do that now with having a baby. Because I know that if I don't get that time done, the rest of the day is not guaranteed, and it's very easy to push things off as the day goes on. So that's always like my business in the mornings, and that 100% changed my business when I was in corporate, and it's keeping my head above water now. Like I need those mornings. So I would work out, I would read my PD, I would send my invites. Like those are like the most important things for me, was invites and new conversations, and answer any messages. And those things would be done. Like those were my priority before work. And I'd also make a post on social media. So all of that like heavy lifting stuff and stuff that I needed to do for my business was done before I even got to work in the morning. And now it's done before my daughter even wakes up in the morning. And then now it's nap time hustles. It used to be lunch hours. So I didn't go out with coworkers anymore. I didn't go meet my husband for lunch anymore. Like those were my time to work on my business. So during lunch hours, I would usually check into my challenge groups, check in with my clients, do conversations, things like that, make sure I was present in them. And then anything I had after work, I was very, very smart with my time after work. I would pick certain nights of the week where I would just be with Ryan, and certain nights of the week that I would work. And then again, I was smart with my time. I was doing more things like this with calls or trainings for my team and giving back to my team, because I already did all those stuff for my business. I'm also a firm believer that before you are a star diamond and you have leaders underneath you, that 90% of your time should be your business, 10% should be to your clients and coaches, because you have to focus on growing your business and setting that example and not wasting all that time with people who don't want to run with you, you know? And you can check in with your clients very quickly. In a very minimal time can you spend that time with your clients. Even now I'm probably at about like 60-40, 70-30 maybe, of the time I'm spending on my business, but that's still always a priority because that's the example, and the rest with my team and coaches. Okay, so figure out what you need to do for that. Try to stay organized over here. Whatever that schedule looks like for you, and be intentional with that time. Again, I know we're all busy. We all have shit that we need to do. So when you sit down to work, that's not your time to make a Canva graphic or scroll social media or scroll everyone's Instagram stories. That is your time to make sure you're doing the income producing activities. And to me, that is making sure you're running groups, making sure you have your coach previews plans, making sure you're posting call to actions, make sure that you're sending new connections, invites, follow-ups, like all those things that are going to get people in the door and produce direct income for you, right? I tell my coaches not to watch any extra training videos, not to create any extra graphics until they've hit their monthly goal. Like for sure, bar none, like they have to hit their Success Club goal and their new coach recruit goal, or they spend too much time watching like 10 training videos and then they don't implement any of it, or maybe like one thing, and then, or they're like information overload and don't do anything with it. It's like focus on, I mean, the tracker in the back office is amazing. There's so many trackers out there. But when you sit down and work, just be focused and intentional with that time and make sure you're doing the things that push your business forward. Okay. Not the, fun social media stuff. And then the last couple of things I have is plan your months to a T, which you guys probably know that. Make sure you're following a marketing plan. Make sure that you're very intentional with that, especially when you're busy, especially when you're pushing for big goals. You want to make sure that you have everything in line and that it's all, your social media just doesn't look like throw up of call to actions, right? It's like prioritize, and you talk about the group that's coming up. So I'll do like a free group and then a challenge group and then a coach preview, so that's what I'm talking about, those weeks on top of life, because obviously we also want to share everything. So there's so many Beachbody coaches out there, and on average, like every person is probably following 3 to 5 other coaches. So why are they going to sign up with you, right? Don't be that other typical Beachbody coach out there. Be you. Share your story, share your brand, share your people. Don't try to be anyone else. else. Like if you struggle with this, unfollow coaches, like check with the people that you need to and they inspire you or whatever. But unfollow them and build your own brand, build what you are and what your people are. And again, that's going to change over time too, right? Like I went from corporate America to wedding planning to being a dog mom. And now I talk a lot about, I have like all new moms now. And I talk about sleep and baby things and all of that. And your brand's going to change, but share that because those are the people that are going to come in the door and are going to be your best friends and they're going to relate to you. And the last thing I have is just make sure that you truly, truly, truly believe in what you do and that this is possible for you. And I know it sounds so cliche and that it's like this fluffy stuff, but it's so, so, so important because when I even think about back to the beginning, I never believed I couldn't do this. And Ryan always says that too. He's like, you were so confident that this business was going to work. I didn't say like, maybe I'll quit corporate. I said, I'm quitting corporate in December. Like even before my income was there, I was so, so, so confident about it. So you really, really have to believe that this is possible because all those doubts in your mind are going to overpower everything and they're going to hit you eventually. So you really have to stay true to that and believe in that and stick with your PD and surround yourself with, coaches who have done it and coaches who empower you to make you believe, help you believe that that's real. But I'm a firm believer in that the more you speak that truth, the more you're going to believe it. So speak that to the universe, tell your success partner, your friend or your husband or whatever, what your goals are and really, really share that with the world. So I think that's everything.
Holy cow. That was amazing. Oh my God. So much I don't know if I could have asked for a more perfect call. Like you just hit every single nail. I took a whole page of notes. Does anybody that has questions, put them in the chat because I have a question. Yes. You kind of went right into it, but I just your best tips because I know obviously a lot of these ladies are pushing for diamond and they're focusing they're in that shift of going from just focusing on bringing in people for their challenge groups, but really trying to grow their team and start talking about the business opportunity and recruiting. And I say, just like you said, the biggest shift in my business this year with recruiting wise is I literally just started talking about coaching. I didn't realize literally how much I wasn't talking about coaching until I finally realized, oh yeah, no, really 4 to 6 posts a week should be nuggeting coaching. So what, do you have any other tips or advice for them, as far as how best to recruit or how you kind of go about it?
Yeah, and that was definitely the biggest shift in my business, the second year when I realized that. And I just watched every training video I possibly could and made sure that I was implementing all of those things. But the biggest thing is you cannot talk about coaching enough. And you might think oh, I just talked about it 2 days ago, but the average person isn't seeing all of your posts. They're seeing 25% of your posts. So you have to talk about it more than you think you need to talk about. You have to be annoying about coaching. And also the cool thing about coaching is there's so many different ways to talk about coaching, right? It's not just coaching. It's being able to work from anywhere, being able to have this community, being able to have this endless amount of training, being able to be recognized. I'm not recognized in my full-time job or whatever it is that you have, and you can financial, whatever. There's so many different ways that you can talk about coaching and make it not annoying. Talk about all those things every week and then restart the next week. And I do little things on my Instagram story all the time. I'm always sneaking in, oh, I'm able to work from anywhere at the coffee shop. Have you ever wondered what I do or whatever? And then I'm back to Charlie and showing her because everyone loves to see her. And then just little things and just constantly changing up. So you can do those little bits. And honestly, I think those little bits of call to actions are so much more powerful because they're just able to quick swipe up, or you just really spoke to them on that little story and they're able to, put their email down. So that helps me. The other thing that helped me is I started running coach previews like crazy. I usually ran them weekly, but minimum 3 times a week when I was pushing to go full time. So I was constantly inviting to the coaching opportunity as well. So all those conversations I was having throughout the week, whoever I jived really well with, I would invite them to my coaching preview that weekend and get them in that group. And I was just constantly inviting, literally every Thursday I was inviting to another coach preview. It also forced me to have new connections and it forced me to invite to the coaching opportunity, because I knew if I had a group opening on Friday and I didn't have a new on Thursday, I was spending all day Thursday inviting. And if I didn't have that group, I wouldn't have done that. So I never canceled a group. Even if I had one person, I actually always tell the story, but one of the times I had 2 people in it and I literally almost canceled it. And one of the girls in it is now one of my 2-star diamond coaches. And she was like, so like commenting on everything in it, so excited. She didn't give a shit that there was only one other person, and only I did. And she was getting all the information that she needed. So never underestimate or decide for people, because you really don't know. So it was right. Like, talk about coaching all the time and run coaching previews and invite to the coaching opportunity. I think I have a question here. What exactly do you put in your coach preview? So I changed them up just to keep them exciting, especially with running them that often. But my go-to is a 3-day coaching preview. And especially when I was in corporate, I usually ran them Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the first day was my story. And I also covered objections with my story. So I kind of like bust objections as I told my story, saying like, yeah, I wasn't at my goal weight because I started, working on myself. You don't have to be at your goal weight. I thought it was a pyramid scheme, and it wasn't. Like, I kind of just like cover those objections while I'm telling my story. Then I have them introduce themselves so they can kind of build their community in the page. And then the second day I talk about what we do. And I do a live video for all of these. Like, I try to keep them within 5 minutes. And then I talk about what we do, and I keep it very specific to the vital behaviors. I don't like go too much or they really get overwhelmed and confused. And then the third day I talk about the mentorships, training that we provide, and the cost of signing up. I usually don't cover how we make money because it gets confusing unless someone asks. And I'm happy to give them, more information if they want it, but I keep it pretty simple to the training opportunity and then the packages they can join with. And then after that, I open up a live sign up. So I tell them they have 24 hours to sign up, and I make it super exciting in the page and just say live sign up is up. Our Getting Started Right call is going to be Monday night. Get started by then. And then like every time someone joins, I'll shout them out on the page and be like, yay, congrats to so-and-so for signing up, 8 spots left, and just like keep ringing in the page. And that really, really helps like with a sense of urgency for people too. And also helps me just keep my mentorships organized and my calls all the same and all of that. So that's usually what works best. You can change it up though. Like sometimes I do a live video. Sometimes I do a happy hour with a few of my coaches, and we all like get on a video and we all talk, and I share with other coaches. I also have a YouTube video that I made with a few of my leaders that I just send to people who don't have Facebook. So do what works for you. But that one has always been like my biggest success. Yeah, coach preview and sneak peek's the same thing, whatever you want to call it.
I have a question. Okay, because I'm wondering if that's why, like, what the thing that's different is that how do you get people, or you get people to introduce themselves, like, once you've gone live that first time, like, and you find that, because like, do you have like an open group where you've got people in there and you just build on it? Like, so do you always get as much interaction as you like hope to?
Yeah, I usually do. I delete everything that's ever happened and then restart every time. And usually it's the new people introducing themselves versus like the people who've been in there. But usually people do. Yeah. So I've done everything. I've done that and have then like actually once I watch the video, like introduce themselves in the comments. So I like know they've actually got through it. And then I've also done just like a welcome post and have them introduce themselves in that post and then share with me one thing that they really want to get out of the group. And people usually do. Yeah.
Okay, that's really, yeah. Okay, cool. Because, like, I used to run them on Facebook. And then there's this, like, I never had really great success from it. And then I shifted over to this Instagram page, which I kind of like, but it still, like, takes away that piece of really being able to, like, one, go live and have it stay up, for longer than 24 hours. And then also to, like, team up and do it, like, in a group setting, too.
Uh-huh.
So that's really helpful. The only other question I was gonna ask you was, what were your best? So do you work with Steve as far as like income goes, of like understanding like the business model and all that stuff, or is that something that you learned all on your own just through training videos?
So Steve is really good at it. Steve has taught like all of Jamie's leaders it. My brain personally like works that way, so I figured out a lot of it on my own. Like I was always very interested in how volume works and how everything works. So I kind of looked at it as well. But yes, he does help people.
Yeah, because like I know like that was the thing that has been like the hardest thing for me to understand. But I've watched a ton of Steve's videos. Like any video I can find of Steve
He's
explaining.
really good at it. Yeah, when he gets like his whiteboard out and like shows all of the cycles and everything. Yeah.
Yes, but like I love the tip that you gave about reverse engineering because like I mean obviously we think about that so much as far as like rank goes and all that stuff. Like okay, if I want this, then how many do I have to recruit a month and all that stuff? But like to do that with your income is like obvious. Like we should be doing that. Aaron, Steve Innes is his name. So it's Jamie and Steve Innes, and if you YouTube him. Like I just put Steve Innes income and like usually his videos will show up. Like he's done a few. There's some in the Beach Bike Champions page. All that they're all over the place. Does anyone else have any questions for Taylor? You can just unmute yourself if you don't want to type it.
I was just wondering if you use Facebook or Instagram for your coach previews. Like, I don't know, like, is it your team? I guess I just don't know how to start that.
Yeah, so I use Facebook for them, and they've worked really well for me. So it depends if you want to run them by yourself or you want to like team up with a few coaches. I really love running them by myself. I don't know why, like I just have control over it and do my own live videos. But I just create a group on Facebook and name it whatever I want. I've also had really good success branding them. So like this past month, I did like a fresh one and I did Coach Your Way to Mompreneur Freedom and targeted like just moms. And it was like one of my biggest group in a while. One of my coaches had really great success doing one like Coach Your Way to Debt-Free Days. She was like really, really huge on paying off her debt and her income. So if you want to brand it, I think that's a really good idea too, because like every coach is promoting coach previews. Like again, how can it make it your people? But yeah, I just create a Facebook group and then once I advertise it and invite people and have those conversations, I just add them right into there and then just post my live videos that I need to post right in the group.
Okay.
That's brilliant. Does that help, Shay?
Yeah, it does. So you do just the live videos, right? Like you don't, I don't know, like I know some people have like an Instagram page, like separate, like a team or a coaching page, and then they've like created videos for them to watch. So you just go, like you have your Facebook and you go live, right?
Yeah, so I make like a private Facebook group and then I go live within that group. Yep. So I do like a couple posts that I make from like WordSwag and stuff, like a welcome post and then like a couple other things like the sign up and stuff. But yeah, I do the 3 live videos, one each day.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? No? Okay, Taylor, this was awesome. Thank you so much. I loved every bit of it, and I can't wait. Like, I'm sure we're all going to be just like, I'm sure everyone took tons of notes. So
thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad.
Thank you, and I hope you